As someone with OSDD or DID, you are no doubt familiar with the idea of integration, which many people think of as a final fusion into one unified personality. Dr. Dan Siegel talks about integration in a way that I think might be new to you, and which, I think, is much more compelling. Dr. Siegel is a psychiatrist and neuroscientist who works with DID, and who talks about two components of integration, which are differentiation and linkage. Now, to be clear, he's not talking about these two components solely in terms of DID and OSDD, but they definitely apply. Let me explain. Differentiation, for our purposes, means having awareness of different parts or members of the system. If you, as the everyday life part, experience the emotions of other parts as yours, then there's no differentiation. And if there's only one part, it can't be linked to anything else. But maybe you argue with me and say, hey, I'm aware of 3 other alters in my system. Great. With the ability to differentiate between yourself and the 3 other parts, you will be able to form connections between them. In fact, my guess is you've already created at least some connections. But more than likely, there are multiple parts you are currently unaware of, or largely unaware of. And because you experience those parts as you are not differentiated with them, and you cannot form connections with parts that you are unaware of. But you might say, so what? Why should I want to form those connections anyway? Well, connections result in the healing of your OSDD or DID. OSDD and DID are conditions where parts of you had to become independent or mostly independent from the rest of you. Each of these parts experiences events as a separate individual. Now, we all have parts, but people with DID or OSDD have parts with few or no connections between them, whereas people without DID or OSDD have parts, but they are connected so that the individual experiences the parts as themselves, as an integrated personality. So this person can experience the desire to go out dancing that night, at the same time they also have a desire to stay home and watch a movie. 2 different and conflicting desires, but the person experiences them both as theirs rather than as separate individuals with these preferences. So healing OSDD and DID results from forming linkages or connections between the various parts of your system. And, of course, unlike the idea of fusion, this type of integration has a wide range of possibilities. Some systems might choose to become aware of each other and then form enough connections that they can communicate and cooperate as a system. That's great. Other systems might choose to develop even more connections so that they begin to experience each other as all part of the same individual, while retaining their own unique differences. And that's great too. Each system should get to decide the amount of integration that works for them. If you are interested in increasing the differentiation of your parts, you can get a start by watching the video Why Unblending is Important. This video explains how you can begin increasing your differentiation through 2 quick steps.